Eduardo. Eduardo coming in from Brazil. Shout out to Brazil. Eduardo.
Right.
Live on Talk Heathen. What's up?
You actually, but that's cool. That's pretty cool. Well, I had actually I called because I'm sort of confused about not yours, because I mean there's no atheist morality, but I mean how you guys deal with that? Because I was watching your broadcasting, and I found something pretty interesting. Some of you are almost close to early Christians in Judaism. Early Christianism, not Christianity as we understand today, but as we were supposed to have understood earlier, which is debatable, but what we have. And others are not, are almost detached, like almost what's allowed was allowed, what's forbidden is forbidden, and I don't know if you guys have a midway point, or and I'm confused. I'm coming from a place of honesty here. I want to learn.
Yeah.
And also, if you want to discuss that later, I don't know the answer to Mike's question. I mean, the answer is sort of most given.
All right, well, let's start with the first one. And I think this is a good round robin here. I'll start here, and I want to hear Jimmy and Sophia's take after. But so Christians didn't invent morality, right? Jewish people didn't invent morality. I think they lived in groups of people, and they kind of figured out some stuff that was right or wrong and what was important to those people at that group of time. So we may share similarities to other groups of people because we're also people, and we have to deal with the same sort of problems that any group of people does. The problem is, do we have a systematic form of morality that applies to all atheists in all situations? No. All atheists come from different worlds. They come from different contexts, cultures, and backgrounds that are going to affect the way that they think about their own sense of morality. So there really isn't a universal morality that we can come to in that regard. We may have some similarities, and we may have some broadly even agreeable systematic things, but it's never going to be perfect. And the truth is, it was never perfect for the Christians or the Jewish people either. They also have changed over time, just as much as we have, if not more so. So it's easy to be confused, because if you grow up in a religion that tells you this is the way, the truth, and the light, and nothing else makes sense, you might be confused why these other things kind of make sense and then kind of don't. It's because there's never been one true moral system that has been solved or has been worked out for all situations. And anybody that tells you otherwise is a liar, in my opinion. So anyway, that's my take. Well, Sophia, how about you?
So I think that there is no one answer to where atheist morality would come from, because there is not some atheist group that just sits down and decides and publishes, here's our moral beliefs. I think that
the humanists, but yeah.
Yes, I am, I guess, not part of that gang. So so I would say that my beliefs about where morals come from is simply that we're capable of empathy with others, because that is a positive survival trait for a social animal. Socializing helped us survive. So we're able to develop empathy. These kind of roll in together, progress together as our social groups become more complex. Discussions of morality also become a lot more complex. I think that for me personally, I became an atheist partially because I had started trying to work on my own moral reasoning and realized that so often Christianity, as it had been taught to me, as I could participate in it around me, violated a lot of my personal moral tenets that came more from a standpoint of just acknowledging human suffering and wanting to diminish human suffering, particularly for me personally, that of children. I ended up being more and more expected to make compromises or to argue that somehow the church or the Bible or God and defense of these institutions was more important than what I actually had come to believe was moral and true without God, which comes entirely from empathy. So I would say that that's for me personally more where it comes from. But I also think that there's the constant working out of morality is an advantage of atheism, because you're constantly considering am I doing what is right? And should be anyway, at least I am, seeking out opinions across a wide variety of perspectives to help inform that.
Yeah. Jimmy, your turn.
Yeah, so I don't really have much to add to those things. I certainly agree with what Sophia and Dan had to say. So I just want to kind of maybe spark a little bit of interest for Eduardo here. But, the idea that morality is somehow unique to religion or to Christianity, in my case, because I was a Christian, so I'm just going to talk about Christianity, is just a product of people trying to create this kind of ancient system, trying to order society based on rules and laws, and trying to find a way to basically govern and to create order, right? But if you go down any street in America or elsewhere, you'll probably pass 1, 2, 5 different churches from different denominations, and they all have different viewpoints on how things should be done. And morality is this ongoing discussion, this ongoing argument about what should and what should not be. And theists, while they say that morality is kind of provided by God, they can't even agree on what should or should not be, which is why there are 45,000 different sects of Christianity. So to say that, well, I'm not sure where atheists get their morality from, I could very easily turn and say the very same thing about Christianity. I am not sure where theists think they get their morality from. And I can actually point to an archaeological record of different religions that have popped up all over the earth that have used religion to create power structures 10,000 years ago or even now. And so something that I want you to think about there is why religion and morality are linked. That's what I have.
Boom. All right. That's 3 people pontificating to you, Eduardo. What do you think about that?
Right. No, I actually agree with was Jimmy the last one? Sorry. But, I actually agree. What makes me sort of confused is this. I don't think that morality comes from religion, but I think that religion is, and maybe it's starting not to be, but is used to be a necessary way to since we didn't have much knowledge about the word, not that we have that much now, but a way to kind of gather this, because it's a religion. Originally, the words means getting together, but they create power structures. I was never really religious. I was a theist, but I was never okay with religion, especially because I had a grandmother. I have a grandmother and a aunt that are Jehovah's Witnesses, and and I pretty much looking on the inside there. And while they are, most people there, they're honest, but some, I let's say I had a close look at that, and I know that churches do that, but we used to have those tales, which is folklore that got us together. And now I think we're at the end of our childhood, as it is. And I think some of you atheists are going to be the ones that are going to lead that, because you're going to have to think on where you find it, because it's almost instinctive to look at religion to find that moral guidance. And that's why I'm interested, because I'm a theist, but I'm a theist from a religion that believes that most rituals are actually things that we used to have, like toys, for lack of a better analogy. And now we start to dispense with them because now we know more, and you're supposed to get closer.
I think Eduardo, you have very kind things to say about us, but the truth is we're all activists for different reasons. I'm interested in talking about the power structures that religion gives, right? You're in Brazil, you know this. The Catholic Church is could technically be considered one of the largest criminal organizations in the world. And yet that doesn't stop somebody's grandma from going and donating every single Sunday because of the comfort, because of the community, because of all the other things that provide. The religion can cause people to do terrible things for good reasons, right? For terrible things, for benefits that they don't necessarily implicitly mean to do. They don't mean to do wrong. They don't mean to do harm, but do anyway because of the power structure that exists. That's the reason why I'm an activist. There's a million different reasons why people are activists and why they think this stuff is important. I don't know about us leading the charge on anything. You talk about any other opinions we have, and you find out why we're so infamous for being like a bag of cats. We don't always get along on a lot of things. The only united front that we tend to have is that, hey, maybe this whole religion thing, we should kind of reconsider just a little bit, maybe. So I don't know, but it is worth at least pondering and at least figuring out, hey, why am I here? Why am I going to this church? Why am I supporting this thing that exists? And is it actually harming people? Is it always good? I think the answers to that may give you pause, but that's my take. I don't know. You guys, thoughts?
I think that the future would be better if those in charge, whether theist or not, were consistent about trying to act as ethically, morally as possible. I think that requires a certain amount of questioning of yourself and truly trying to make the best decision that one can. I think that religion can get in the way of that. I think that what we see right now is a bunch of theocrats who are really thinking that they are doing what's right. I would argue that they are not reasoning about it particularly hard, and they're more tempted by the power. But I think that honest exploration of what is considered right and good is a good thing for leaders. And I hope that we can do that and can challenge each other to do that. I don't think that gets you elected. I don't think that leads you to being a leader, unfortunately. But I think that, we reason almost as an act of hope that it matters that we consider what is the right way to act.
Yep.
Sorry, I was having a bit of a delay here. No, I gotta tell something about Brazil, though. You talk about the Catholic Church. Yeah, they are corrupt. I had I wouldn't say pleasure, but the opportunity of looking at some religions really close, and but the thing is, most Catholics here, they are either they have two or more religions, actually, or they are something called non-practicing Catholics, which is people that say they're Catholics but they don't go to mass. There's also a sort of syncretism, a religious syncretism here. But I think we have to think about that, because I think now we are getting to a point in the world that we are getting divided to a point that nobody gets to talk to anybody else. And we have to be very careful about that.
Yeah. The syncretism you're describing in Brazil is quite famous, right? Because of its uniqueness. There's a cultural identification that comes to the people of Brazil than you would not see in other countries that are Catholic, because of the Catholic Church's attempts to sort of capture the people there, right? It has to kind of adapt in order to survive, and people kind of come up with their own interpretations in order for that to still survive, and yet still give lip service to the church as a structure and as an institution. It's interesting how a religion like that can sort of adapt to its environment in order to retain its power there. And it's something that I think a lot of people still study and think about and work at. Same thing happens in America too, by the way. We everybody here says you ask 10 different Christians what Christianity is, you're gonna get 12 different answers. I mean, that's just how it is. That's just how it always is going to be. But there's a lot to that. Unfortunately, we do have some other callers that I want to take, and I will go ahead and let you go now. But Eduardo, I've enjoyed my previous conversation with you. I enjoyed this one too. I am glad that you feel comfortable talking to us about this journey that you're going through, kind of thinking about some stuff. Maybe you're not quite on our side yet. Maybe we're too, I don't know, something for you. But I'm glad that you're spending that time with us anyway.